Good evening, everyone, and welcome to your Wednesday edition of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Tyler Sherrod.
And I'm student meteorologist Parker Beasley.
Well, once again, it's been a really hot one here in Tallahassee. Hit 101 degrees today, but it's going to start to get a little bit better as we actually saw a lot of rain move through the area, not quite in Tallahassee, but all around Tallahassee.
Yeah, we didn't quite get rain here in Tallahassee, but we did have severe thunderstorm warnings in Madison County that is still going on. I believe it just expired maybe around 6 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah, so a lot of the surrounding areas, we didn't quite see it, but at least a little bit of a cloudier day. So it did hit 100 degrees today, but as we started going through the evening hours, it started to cool down a little bit.
Yeah,
so it feels a lot more comfortable.
It's already
right now.
85 degrees right now. We have cloud cover. We actually do have some rain just west of the FSU campus right now, but we didn't actually get rain on campus. We do have a few statistics we want to run by you before we get into this show. We hit 101 degrees today. We broke the record by 3 degrees, which was set back in 2005.
Yeah, and it's been 4 years since we've had back-to-back 100-degree days. So this goes to show you it's been a really hot September here in Tallahassee, and then been 92 years since we've had back-to-back 100-degree days in the month of September. So very unusual to see that in the month of September.
Very unusual. It's actually unusual that we haven't seen back-to-back 100-degree days in 4 years, and that's spanning across the entire year over the course of 4 years.
Yeah, and then like in September as well, like we had a very hot summer, but it feels like it's just getting even hotter now in September.
Yeah, but a cool down is on the way, and Chris is at the wall to tell you what to expect for the rest of the show.
Thank you, Parker. As you said, it's currently 85 degrees with some scattered thunderstorms. Cooled off a massive 16 degrees since our high of 101 today. Got some calm winds going in. Currently with our satellite radar, as you can see, there's some scattered thunderstorms going around near Tallahassee as well as by Taylor County. As we take a closer view at Tallahassee yet again, you see a few thunderstorms move in and about the area, bringing in caused by a backdoor front that was coming in. And the forecast model, outside of tonight, there's not too much storms happening because the cold front that's coming in from the northeast is bringing in dry air. For tonight in Tallahassee, 71 degrees, partly cloudy. Tomorrow's forecast is going to cool off to 88 degrees. And our headlines for tonight are rain chances will pick up the next few days. Tropics are booming, and cooler temperatures may start in tomorrow.
All right, thank you very much, Chris. We're looking into our southeast. We're looking at those current temperatures, and we see the relief really on the horizon, or at least up in the northeast part, up at Charlotte, looking at 77 degrees right now. Tallahassee really has cooled down to 85, so at least we've gotten away from that heat bubble just for a little bit. Montgomery's still sitting at 101 degrees. They are still very much trapped under it and have not really experienced that front that has rolled through the Tallahassee and the surrounding county areas. You can even see that to the dew points as well right now, 71 over in Tallahassee right now, in 74 and 75 up in Shreveport, with Tropical Depression Imelda really affecting those areas and really reaching out rain-wise throughout the area as well. As we look, you can still see that heat bubble really expanding, especially throughout Alabama and areas of Mississippi. 103 for Montgomery. Nashville up to 93 degrees. They've about reached the same front, that stalled out front that we have here tonight, that has at least cooled down temperatures for a little bit in the meantime. And this is the front I have been talking about. It is rolling right now currently through the Tallahassee area and affecting really a lot of the pop-up showers that you see beforehand in our area. It will continue to beginning to move through our area, especially. We can even see some of the storms have been popped up and pushed down by that front as well, down into the Florida Panhandle. And the other big story is tropical depression, Imelda, which is really expanding all the way out into even those parts of New Orleans. It has just gone past the I-49 corridor and has reached up through really the entire state of Louisiana, including Houston. So there's really, in the short time Imelda has been able to form, it has reached quite the immense size already in our region. Looking down back into Tallahassee, we can see the few storms that have pushed through through our area with that stalled out front that has moved on through. And we can even see, as I said, these storms that have reached past Fort Myers region, even maybe some of them coming in from the north, Port St. Lucie, about to experience some maybe pop-up showers that have started and in fact off by the Atlantic Ocean off the coast. Another big story is, as you can see, Hurricane Humberto is finally starting to move away and finally be extinguished from our area. Our other tropics region we've been looking at has been Humberto, which has been forming off and should carry finally away up and out of here as we look into our future. Tropical Storm Jerry is another storm as part of a big Z tropics that we'll get into later. The main story here, it should not at all affect the coast of our area at all. Looking at temperatures sitting in the mid-70s in our region, the front affecting areas of Tallahassee, Orlando, Tampa. And then we looked into tomorrow. That's when we'll finally see relief, even for Montgomery with 88 degrees. But now we're going to send it off to Tyler just to look at what's happening locally with Tallahassee.
Thank you, Evan. And here locally, we actually see a lot of clouds in the sky in our Doak Campbell camp brought to us by Weather Stem, but we didn't really see any of the rain here. It kind of stayed west and east of us. We talk about it here in Tallahassee, the Tallahassee bubble. It seems all of that severe weather always seems to miss us here. Looking at our temperatures for the Big Bend region, Tallahassee fairly warm at 85, but still very comfortable. St. Mark's at 90, Carabel at 96. You can see those spots that really got the rain. Perry got all the way down from 73. They saw some thunderstorms move through the area that helped cool them down. Monticello getting down to 77. They saw some thunderstorms earlier on in the afternoon. For our dew points for the region, fairly moist in this area right here where we saw those thunderstorms pop up. To our west, a little bit drier, especially Donaldsonville at a dew point of 68 degrees. Thomasville having a dew point of 66 degrees. And when you combine the heat outside with the dew points, you get the current heat index, which is how it actually feels outside. So St. Mark's feels like 103, Carabel all the way up to 104, very brutal temperatures there, and Sumatra at 102. But once again, Perry, heat index of 73, still feels very comfortable after that rain rolled through. Monticello, same story, sitting at 79 degrees right now. Satellite radar showing some storms still moving through from the north. Those are going to start to die off as we get into the later evening, early nighttime hours. Tallahassee still not really seeing much rain, just a little bit of scattered showers, but most of us have stayed to the west and east of us. And going to our east in Cross City, they're seeing some storms probably starting to move through pretty soon as well. And then the other northwestern parts of Florida, seeing some rain across that I-10 corridor. Over the next 24 hours, once we get into the night, not going to see much rain at all, maybe a little bit of cloud coverage. And then as we get into tomorrow, after that cold front passes through, it's going to leave behind a lot of dry air. So we're not really expecting any rain for tomorrow. More eastern parts of Florida, closer to Jacksonville, might expect a little bit of rain, but here in the Big Bend, it's going to be fairly dry. Wind speeds and directions right now. Perry having wind speeds of 20 miles per hour. Once again, they had those storms roll through, so the wind speeds have picked up there quite a bit. Valdosta at 10 miles per hour, and then Thomasville at 12. Tallahassee, fairly calm wind speeds as of right now. For tonight's forecast, in the southern parts of Georgia, going to be in the high 60s, but for the rest of the Big Bend, going to be in the mid to lower 70s all throughout, except for Monticello, going to be at 69 degrees. And then for tomorrow, Bainbridge going to be at 88, Tallahassee going to be up to 89. Really, everyone's going to feel fairly comfortable. Not a single city going to be hitting the 90s tomorrow. For tonight in Tallahassee, partly cloudy, 71 degrees. And then going to look at that 7-day forecast, going to be in the upper 80s until we get into Sunday. Going to get back into the 90s again. Going to have a very sunny end of the weekend and start of next week. Now I'm going to pass things off to the desk with Parker and Chris.
Thanks, Tyler. So that 7-day looks very interesting. We have temperatures in the upper 80s, which is actually average for this time of year. But what's bringing those temperatures around parts of Florida and parts of the southeast is that stationary front that was once a backdoor cold front.
Yeah, what a backdoor cold front is, as opposing to a regular cold front that moves from the southwest, from the northwest to the southeast, backdoor cold front moves from the northeast to the southwest. It's called backdoor because it comes in through the back door.
Yeah, it's sort of moving in an opposite manner that a regular cold front would, whereas we have normal cold fronts that move from the west coast towards the east coast. This one is moving from the east coast
to the west coast.
Yeah, basically. And the reason for this is due to a high pressure system that is currently located over parts of New York, parts of Pennsylvania, and that's really stirring up sort of the winds and driving that stationary front towards our area right now.
Yeah. It transitioned from backdoor to the stationary front because it stopped moving above the area and stopped moving, so it became stationary.
And along with that stationary front, we're going to have increased rain chances, and when our rain chances increase, our temperatures will decrease. That's why Tallahassee's forecast to be around 88 degrees tomorrow and into Friday. But by the weekend, things will start to heat back up as those rain chances go back down.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping the front stays around. It's cooling our temperatures back down to what they normally are around this time. Looking forward to the next few days that aren't in the 90s.
Absolutely. It'll be nice, crispy air outside. It'll be a little bit drier than we've seen in really the past 3 weeks here in Tallahassee, with dew points nearing 70, 75 degrees. But our dew points should stay upper 50s, maybe lower 60s in the next coming days.
That's going to be caused by the front bringing in a lot of cool, dry air behind it as it came from the northeast.
Absolutely. So we have temperatures that are fairly low. We've set many records here in the past 2 days. Tyler and I talked about it earlier. We hit 101 degrees today here in Tally, 100 degrees yesterday. Tomorrow is looking about 13 degrees cooler than it was from today. So a good look in the forecast for tomorrow. Clouds will be in the area, partly cloudy. We'll keep those temperatures down, and it should be rather cool for the next 2 days. But into Saturday and into the weekend, things will start to heat back up towards normal. And we'll get a good look at the National right now with Tyler at the wall.
Thanks, guys. Here in our national view, going to see that backdoor cold front you guys were talking about, situated just north of Tallahassee right now. That's going to come through and bring us some colder temperatures. Here in the upper Midwest towards South Dakota, I have a high pressure system situated, and then low pressure here to the west, bringing some rain for Washington, Oregon, and California as a cold front starts to push through over there. And then left behind by the cold front up here in the northeast, high pressure system bringing a lot drier conditions for us in the northeast. Temperatures all throughout the country. Southeast still fairly warm, not quite as hot as it's been. The hottest spot is Memphis at 97 degrees. Atlanta and Tallahassee getting down to 84 and 85 degrees respectively. Boston getting all the way down to 59 degrees. And then as we move westward, still fairly warm as we get into Denver and Salt Lake City, but starts to cool down a little bit as we get into Seattle at 66 degrees. San Francisco and LA, as usual, in those mid 70s and very comfortable. Dew point showing very dry air once again in the Midwest. Salt Lake City has a dew point of 23. A little bit moister towards the west coast where we're seeing the rain chances pop up a little bit more. Seattle has a dew point of 50. San Francisco dew point of 57. And once again, the northeast, a lot of dry air left behind by that backdoor cold front. Washington, D.C. and Boston, fairly dry. But the southeast staying fairly moist, having those rain chances spark up for some of those regions that are still ahead of the cold front. And our heat index for the region, southeast, still hot. Tallahassee at 92. New Orleans feels like 99 degrees right now. But those areas in the west coast I talked about before, they have a lot of dry air, so their heat index is the exact temperature that it is outside. So Denver, temperature is 81 degrees, and it feels like 81 degrees outside. Looking at the satellite and radar, you can see Tropical Depression Imelda still bringing a lot of rain for Houston. It's moving fairly slowly, so some flood risk, but not too bad there. Bringing some rain for Louisiana as well. And then we can see those showers in the panhandle of Florida. And then even moving to central Florida, some rain as well. And then the high pressure, not letting any rain get into the northeast. And we actually have some rain in Iowa. We'll get to that a little bit later. But here on the west coast, have some rain north of San Francisco, scattered all throughout Oregon as well, and then getting into the northeastern parts of Idaho, even stretching into Montana, and then getting into Iowa. Waterloo here had a line of storms that moved through for them. They're finally seeing the backside of it now, getting into the clear for them. And here's Tropical Depression Imelda, bringing a lot of rain for Houston, a lot of water vapor as well. But we're going to look at tomorrow's forecast. Very hot in the southeast once again, but not too bad once we start getting into Florida. Going to be 89 degrees in Tallahassee and 89 degrees in Tampa. But now I'm going to pass things off to Chris, who's going to give us a closer look at Florida.
All right. Thank you, Tyler. Moving into our current conditions right now around Florida, we have a wide range of temperatures right here. We got feeling 98 degrees in Pensacola, as it has not been affected by the stationary front yet, and all the way down to 79 degrees in Tampa Bay, which is roughly 20 degrees difference, which is massive. Going over our dew points right now, we are mostly in the upper 60s, lower 70s throughout the area, which in Pensacola, they're not feeling much of it because it's very hot. However, in Tampa, it's going to feel very muggy because of the much lower temperature there. Moving in our satellite and radar, just a few scattered showers moving out most area, all scattered about where the stationary front is currently. As we start moving closer to the Big Bend region, you can see these scattered thunderstorms that were brought in by the front. Going to our weather alerts, we got a small craft advisory, which is this area in pink right here. And we have a high surf advisory, which is in the darker pink, as well as some severe thunderstorm warnings that are in orange over here. Getting a good look at our forecast model, once the front starts moving on through, there's going to be not too much in terms of rain throughout most of the area. There's going to be a few scattered storms moving it out from the east coast there, as well as Pensacola will finally start feeling the effects of the front that has cooled off most of the Florida area. Going into tomorrow's forecast, we're going to be in the 80s for most of the area. It's going to be partly cloudy for almost everywhere. You got some rain showers in Miami and thunderstorms in Fort Lauderdale. Tomorrow's forecast for the east coast of Florida, it's going to be partly cloudy all around, mid-80s. It's going to feel a lot cooler than it was before front. Once again, partly cloudy. It's going to be a little bit warmer as you move closer to the west, as the front is going to be staying in this area and will not quite reach St. Petersburg or Sarasota. Tomorrow's forecast for the Jacksonville area, it's going to be all around 82 degrees and all around Florida. For tonight, we're going to have partly cloudy. There's going to be a few storms in Tallahassee, Orlando, Tampa, Key West, Pensacola, and throughout most of the area, it's going to be wide variety of weather conditions. For now, I'm going to pass things off to the desk with Evan and Tyler.
Thank you, Chris, very much. And as really one of our key themes of our show here today has been the tropics are absolutely booming.
Yeah,
around.
Very active right now. We have 3 storms: Hurricane Umberto, Tropical Depression Imelda, and then I believe it's Tropical Storm Jerry right now.
Yep, as of right now. Potentially become a hurricane later. But the good news is, though, two of these systems, both Jerry and Umberto, should not and really have not made much of an impact at all.
Yeah, not going to impact Tallahassee at all. And then Tropical Depression Imelda, bringing a lot of rain for Houston, but once again, not something that we have to worry about here in Tallahassee. And luckily, even for Houston, the impacts of Tropical Depression Imelda aren't too bad. Just a good amount of rain, maybe a little bit of flooding.
Yeah, the flooding's been the main concern. Wind, really not really much of a concern at all, because it's the story of Imelda itself has really been kind of amazing. It formed pretty much just yesterday, I believe, right?
Yeah, wasn't expected to have a very high chance of forming, then all of a sudden started strengthening very rapidly, and by the time it was named Tropical Storm Imelda, it made landfall about 15 minutes later, so not much warning for the residents closer to the coastline by Houston.
Yeah, I just hope they prepped up for that definitely in time and stuff like that. But besides those 3 tropical systems that we got going on in the Atlantic, we also have 2 areas to watch in the Atlantic around.
Yeah, one in the Caribbean and then another one behind Jerry as well. So just a lot going on in the tropics right now. But also off the coast of Africa right now, starting to see some Saharan dust. So after all of these systems start to move out, we're going to have a little bit of time where conditions aren't very favorable for tropical systems to start developing off the coast of Africa.
Absolutely. And the good news about those chances of development is they are very low for those 2 areas to watch. So hopefully they'll be on the good side and hopefully shouldn't develop into anything major, really.
Yeah, we've had a lot of good luck this season so far, so just continue to keep your fingers crossed that we won't see anything here in Florida, especially here in Tallahassee.
Because besides Dorian and Barry earlier this semester or this year, we really, as the United States entirely, haven't really had much of a tropical effect.
Yep.
With most of these storms.
Yep, just Barry and Dorian for us. We got really lucky. But now I'm going to pass things off to Parker, and he's going to give us another, even closer look at the tropics.
Thanks, guys. So yeah, we're going to be taking a deeper look at the tropics right now. For the 2019 hurricane names, we've crossed off Andrea, Barry, Chantel, Dorian, Aaron, Fernand, and Gabrielle. Right now, Humberto is sitting in the Atlantic at a Category 3 hurricane. Imelda is currently hitting Texas right now as a tropical depression, and Tropical Storm Jerry is churning its way out in the middle of the Atlantic. Here's Tropical Depression Imelda right over Texas, sort of just sitting there. It's expected to be sitting there for the next couple of days. Here is Humberto out in the Atlantic, currently a Category 3 hurricane, also expected to go off and not impact anything north of the United States. Here is that area that Evan and Tyler were talking about. This has a 40% chance of development within the next couple of days, and Tropical Storm Jerry is currently sitting right there in the Atlantic. That is going to be moving. We'll get into that in a little bit. Tropical Depression Imelda, rather, is currently sitting over Houston. You can see the loop of all of the satellite imagery, all the cloud tops, currently dumping rain, almost similar to Hurricane Harvey, which we saw back in 2017. Rainfall totals expected to be nearing 2 feet in some areas towards the coast. Fingers crossed that conditions improve in parts of Texas in the next coming days. Here's Hurricane Humberto, currently located just east of the East Coast in Florida. Winds at 120 miles per hour. That is just above the threshold for a Category 3 hurricane. Pressure currently at 952 millibars. Here's that tropical disturbance. This could be our next named storm. If it does develop, it's looking rather unlikely right now because it's battling a lot of shear. If you do recall, Dorian did go through this area. There's still a little bit cooler waters in this area, but they're heating up, sort of giving this system a chance within the upcoming days. Here's Tropical Storm Jerry. Here's its track. Currently a tropical storm, but expected to be a Category 1 hurricane by Friday, maybe by the 5 a.m. hour. And no threat to land right now. We can look at the spaghetti models. They're taking it on a northwesterly track right now. But if you look here, the HWRF has it squiggling and then going maybe to the west, but in consensus with a lot of the other models, they're taking it out to sea, much like Humberto and Hurricane Dorian did, the last 2 hurricanes that we did see here. There's a lot going on in the tropics right now. We have this area of development right here just south of Puerto Rico, Tropical Storm Jerry, and then out to the east of this, my graphics currently ran out, but out to the east of this, further off into the Atlantic, just off the coast of Africa, there is another area of development given a 40% chance of development as well within the next coming days. So the tropics are very, very active right now as we are in the peak of hurricane season. But we're going to send things over to Evan with a look at the local.
Oh, yeah. It has been quite the story today. Good thing we haven't had to deal with much of these hurricanes, much at all. The almanac's sitting at 101 degrees. It is not 1, not 2, but 3 whole degrees above our record set in 2005 of 98 degrees, which is high enough, honestly, for September. As you can see, the average itself is usually at 88. So definitely it has been a scorcher out there today, and I certainly wasn't expecting it too much. Good news is, though, we do have that cool-off coming down with these storms. Have been passing really not through the Tallahassee area, just in general, a lot of areas around us. Cross City was one of the ones that was hit by it. If you look closer in, Cross City was one of those areas that did have the severe thunderstorm warning earlier, but it's just expired just a little while ago. But rain has just passed through the Tallahassee area and should continue that way on through tonight. As you can see, nothing too much, just a little bit of cloud cover, which will also help out cool off those temperatures even further into our areas. You can see still maybe a little bit of not tropical development. Good thing we don't have to deal with that. But a little storm cover and a little pop-up shower here and there may be expansive for tomorrow morning, but should not affect much. Perry's sitting down actually at 73, helping get a lot of that relief off from those clouds. Exactly. Compared to more of Thomasville, still sitting at 90 degrees. And look at it, it's Monticello at 76. That's quite the temperature difference of 15 degrees just in that short mileage of time. You see St. Mark sitting at 77 the dew point. Also Perry at 72, really where those storms are still hitting currently. Donaldsonville up at 69. Not really seeing that front hit them yet because they are still at a heat index of 95. And if we've even looked at further down on the coast, it's 104 Kellerbell, and yet it's 73 over in Perry. You can really see crazy amount of change and transition this front and these storms have really caused. Wind directions really in rapid directions with these single cell storms really cause them to whirl around in all kinds of different directions. St. Mark's has their winds going to the east by 4 miles an hour. Apalachicola maybe a little bit greater, hitting the 10-mile-per-hour mark for their area. 71 sitting up in Tallahassee should be tonight. Just a little calm breeze at 5 miles an hour as hitting the southeast. As we look for our dock walk forecast, you'll be hitting 80 hopefully in the morning, and you'll be only hitting up to 87. That will be the great cool down for tonight that we've needed. As looking into our 7-day forecast, rain likely maybe for tonight and especially right now, but we'll start to warm up heading into the coming week, heading to the lower 90s, excuse me. But we're going to head to our closing desk segment with Tyler and Parker.
Thanks, Evan. So that 7-day looks beautiful once again tomorrow and Friday, sitting at temperatures below 90 degrees.
Yep, for once, finally below 90. So today we are at 100, and then by the time we get into tomorrow and the next day, going to drop by about 10 degrees. So
yeah, at least 10 degrees. A matter of 13 degrees from today into tomorrow. Saturday's looking fairly beautiful for the game at Doak Campbell Stadium. FSU plays Louisville.
Yeah, the last home game we had, Louisiana Monroe, very hot outside, very brutal, but Saturday should be a little bit better. Might actually see some clouds and going to be just below 90, so a lot more comfortable this time around.
Yeah, hopefully the student section is covered by clouds this time and not just the home side where they get the shade, because the game is at 3:30. So the sun will be setting towards the end of the game.
Yeah, and hopefully that helps give us an advantage as well. The football team have a little bit better conditions to play under this time around, not the brutal heat this time.
Yes, conditions are favorable for us to do pretty well on Saturday. We'll have to see. Sunday's also looking very beautiful. Temperature capping off at 91 degrees, but we're waking up at 68. Clear skies in the forecast for your end of the weekend.
Yeah, so those lows actually getting down to the 60s again, especially Thursday night, going to get down to 66 degrees. So very comfortable temperatures there. And then as we start getting into next week, Monday, Tuesday, going to start heating up a little bit back into the lower to mid 90s.
Yeah, back to our average not our average temperatures, it's 89, but back to our traditional temperatures that we've been seeing the last 3 weeks here in the state capitol. Nearing 95 degrees here and there, but you can go ahead and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/FSU Weather.
And you can like us on Facebook, facebook.com/FSU Weather as well.
And you can watch us live on YouTube at youtube.com/FSU Weather. We stream every weeknight at 6 p.m.
And then also follow us on Instagram at FSU Weather. Send us any pictures of the weather that you think are pretty cool, and we'll post them to our account and try to share them with as many people as possible. And as usual, I always say, if you have any pictures of the snow, send them our way, because I love seeing the snow. We never get it here in Tallahassee.
That's awesome. But from everyone here at FSU Weather, I'm student meteorologist Parker Beasley.
And I'm student meteorologist Tyler Sherrod. Have a great evening, everyone.